Have you ever felt like no matter how much someone cares for you, you just can't let them in? Maybe you pull away when things get too close, or you feel suffocated when someone tries to depend on you emotionally. If that sounds familiar, then chances are you might be dealing with what psychologists call an avoidant attachment style. And here's the thing, it's not your fault, but it is something you can heal. And in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly how. For the next 30 minutes, I want you to imagine this as a conversation, not a lecture. Because healing avoidant attachment isn't about memorizing theory. It's about understanding yourself on a deeper level and then taking small practical steps to change the way you relate to others. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with not just knowledge, but real tools you can start using immediately to heal. So let's begin with the basics. What is avoidant attachment style? Attachment theory was first developed by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, and it explains how the way we bonded with our caregivers as children shapes the way we connect with others as adults. If your early environment taught you that your needs wouldn't be consistently met, or that closeness comes with rejection, you may have learned to shut down emotionally as a form of protection. Instead of seeking comfort, you learn to be self-reliant. That's where avoidant attachment begins. Now, avoidant attachment comes in different shades. Sometimes it's called dismissive avoidant, where you downplay the importance of relationships and pride yourself on independence. Other times it's fearful avoidant, where you do want closeness but you're terrified of it at the same time. In both cases, the common thread is discomfort with intimacy and a tendency to distance yourself when relationships start feeling too vulnerable. But here's the good news. Attachment styles are not fixed. They're not life sentences. They're learned behaviors and patterns, and what's learned can be unlearned. The key is awareness, practice, and a willingness to face the discomfort that comes with growth. So how do we begin to heal avoidant attachment? Let's break it down step by step. The first step is awareness. You can't heal what you can't see. Start paying attention to your patterns. Do you notice that you withdraw when someone tries to get emotionally close? Do you find yourself feeling irritated or smothered by a partner's needs? Do you dismiss your own emotions or find it hard to even recognize them? These are signs of avoidant tendencies. Write them down. Journaling is powerful here because when you put your behaviors on paper, you start to see them clearly instead of letting them operate in the background. The second step is to understand the root. Healing avoidant attachment requires you to look back, not to blame, but to understand. Many people with avoidant attachment grew up in environments where vulnerability wasn't safe. Maybe your parents were emotionally distant, overly critical, or inconsistent. Maybe they expected you to grow up too fast, or punished you for expressing feelings, so you learned to cope by shutting down your emotional needs. This is important to recognize because once you understand where it started, you can stop seeing yourself as broken and start seeing yourself as adaptive. You weren't weak, you were surviving. The third step is emotional awareness. People with avoidant attachment often disconnect from their feelings. You might think, I'm fine, even when you're actually stressed, lonely, or sad. So here's a practical tool. Throughout the day, pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? It might feel awkward at first, but try to label the emotion. Anger, sadness, anxiety, even contentment. Naming feelings is the first step toward processing them. Without awareness of emotions, intimacy becomes impossible because you can't share what you don't recognize. The fourth step is to challenge your beliefs about closeness. Avoidants often hold deep unconscious beliefs like, if I depend on others, I'll be disappointed, or if someone gets too close, I'll lose myself. These beliefs may have been true in childhood, but they're not universal truths. Start testing them. Allow yourself to lean on a friend in a small way. Notice that the world doesn't fall apart when you ask for help. Intimacy doesn't mean losing independence. It means sharing life in a way that makes both people stronger. The fifth step is to practice vulnerability in small doses. Vulnerability doesn't mean spilling your deepest secrets to everyone. It means sharing honestly even when it feels uncomfortable. For example, instead of saying I'm fine when you're not, try saying it's been a tough day, but I'm managing. That's a small but powerful act of vulnerability. Over time, these small steps create safety and connection. And here's the key, start with safe people. Don't force vulnerability with those who judge or dismiss you. Choose people who show empathy and respect. The sixth step is learning to self soothe without shutting down. Avoidants often cope with stress by withdrawing, turning off their phone, avoiding conversations, or retreating into work. Instead, practice grounding techniques. Deep breathing, meditation, or simply taking a walk can calm your nervous system without cutting people off. The goal is to regulate yourself without running away from others. The seventh step is communication. This is huge. If you're in a relationship, let your partner know what you're working on. You might say, "Sometimes I pull away when I'm stressed, but I'm learning to stay present. I just need some patience." That kind of honesty not only builds trust, but also helps your partner understand that your distance isn't rejection. It's a pattern you're healing. Healthy partners will support you in this journey. Now let's talk about therapy. Healing avoidant attachment on your own is possible, but having professional support can accelerate the process. Therapies like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, schema therapy, and especially EFT, emotionally focused therapy, are powerful tools for reshaping attachment. A therapist can guide you through identifying old wounds, challenging beliefs, and practicing new ways of connecting in a safe space. At this point, you might be thinking, "This sounds good in theory, but can I really change?" The answer is yes. Countless studies show that people can move towards secure attachment through intentional practice. And here's a key idea I want you to take with you. Secure attachment is not about being perfect. It's about being open, responsive, and consistent, both with yourself and with others. You don't have to become someone else. You just have to learn to show up differently. Now, let's add in a Stoic perspective because I know many of you watching appreciate philosophy and mindset. The Stoics taught that while we cannot control what happened to us in the past, we can control how we respond now. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Healing avoidant attachment is exactly that. You can't change your childhood, but you can change how you show up today. You can choose courage over avoidance. You can choose openness over withdrawal. Each small choice is an act of reclaiming your power. Let's go deeper into some practical exercises you can start using today. Exercise 1. Journaling your triggers. Every time you feel the urge to withdraw, write down what happened, what you felt, and what you told yourself in that moment. Over time, you'll see patterns emerge. Maybe criticism triggers you, or maybe closeness itself makes you anxious. Awareness of triggers is the first step to breaking them. Exercise 2. Practice expressing needs. Avoidants often feel like they have no right to ask for what they need. Start with something small. Ask a friend for a favor. Tell your partner, "I'd love if we could spend some time together tonight." These small requests teach your nervous system that expressing needs doesn't always lead to rejection. Exercise 3. Reframe independence. Many avoidants pride themselves on being independent, and independence is good until it becomes isolation. Reframe independence as the ability to choose connection, not the inability to need others. True strength is not in rejecting closeness, but in balancing self-reliance with interdependence. Exercise 4. Create corrective experiences. If your past taught you that closeness equals pain, you need new experiences to prove otherwise. This means intentionally building relationships with safe, consistent people. Each positive experience rewires your brain to trust connection. It won't happen overnight, but over time, these corrective experiences reshape your attachment style. Exercise 5. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you stay present instead of running to old patterns. When you feel the urge to withdraw, pause. Notice your breath, your body, your thoughts. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding right now? What am I afraid will happen? This moment of awareness can help you choose a new response instead of falling into the old one. Now, let's acknowledge something important. Healing avoidant attachment is uncomfortable. There will be times when you want to quit, times when closeness feels overwhelming, times when you doubt whether change is even possible, and that's okay. Growth always feels uncomfortable because you're stepping outside the patterns your brain has relied on for years. But discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is the sign that you're growing. I also want to stress the importance of self-compassion. Many avoidants are harsh on themselves. They criticize their own distance, their inability to connect, their mistakes in relationships. But beating yourself up only reinforces the cycle. Healing requires gentleness. Remind yourself you learned these patterns to survive, and now you're unlearning them to thrive. That's not weakness, that's courage. So, what does healing look like over time? In the beginning, it's just noticing your patterns. Then, it's catching yourself before you withdraw. Eventually, it's staying present in moments where you used to shut down. And over the long run, it's building relationships where you can be both independent and deeply connected. That's what secure attachment looks like, and it's possible for you. Let's recap the steps quickly. First, become aware of your patterns. Second, understand the roots. Third, build emotional awareness. Fourth, challenge old beliefs about closeness. Fifth, practice small acts of vulnerability. Sixth, learn to self-soothe without shutting down. Seventh, communicate openly. And finally, seek therapy or support when needed. These steps, practiced consistently, will move you from avoidant to secure. Now let me leave you with this. Healing avoidant attachment is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more fully yourself. It's about allowing yourself to experience the richness of connection without fear. It's about realizing that independence and intimacy are not opposites. They can coexist beautifully. And it's about embracing the truth that you are worthy of love exactly as you are. So I'll ask you, are you ready to take the first step? Because healing doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. And the moment you decide to face your patterns, to lean into discomfort, to open your heart even just a little, that's the moment healing begins. If you found this video helpful, I encourage you to share it with someone who might be struggling with avoidant attachment. And if you're ready to keep growing, hit that subscribe button because I'll be sharing more insights on psychology, relationships, and Stoic wisdom to help you on this journey. Remember, you are not broken, you're just healing, and every step you take brings you closer to the love and connection you deserve.